Kevin Harlan here. This Saturday, 5:30 Eastern, the NBA crew is back on Prime as the Emirates NBA action heats up from Vegas for a thrilling semifinals doubleheader. Then on Tuesday night, December 16th at 8:30 Eastern, the last two teams standing will square off in the championship game for a shot at the cup, bragging rights, and a place in NBA history. And Prime is your exclusive home for it all. Not a Prime member? Sign up for a free 30-day trial to get started today. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details. Don't miss the thrilling conclusion of the Emirates NBA Cup live from Las Vegas, starting with the semifinals this Saturday night only on Prime.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Whether you're gifting, decorating, or treating yourself, Lowe's December deal drops are here to help you save more all month long. Get up to 50% off select holiday decor. Plus, get up to 45% off select tools and accessories. Shop new December deal drops every week this month and get so much more out of your holidays. Lowe's, we help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome into another edition of the Royals Rundown podcast presented by Royals Review. I am Jacob Milham, now at home, joined today by the illustrious Jeremy Hokius Greco. Jeremy, I feel like we both have been sick since Thanksgiving. I'm going on like an all-time stretch of just being sick one way or another. I hate it. I want spring now.
I want winter, but I want to not have to go near any other humans. I think is
fair enough.
That I find that when I stay in my apartment, I can avoid getting sick.
There you go. Okay. I mean, just it's always other folks, right? It's not all other folks, but somehow always another folk.
Well, I mean, I could give you a whole rant on how the United States treats illness and how if people actually stayed home when they were sick, we would spread illness a lot less and we would have a lot less illness. But nobody wants to hear that.
Well, I would love for you to talk to folks all about working on the ship and not getting sent home while we're sick. But that's another rant for another time. Folks, if you want to stay away from people but still talk about baseball, you can do it up on RoyalsReview.com, where we got all the best about the Kansas City Royals. We got a lot to talk about on today's episode: the Rule 5 draft lottery, fallout from the winter meetings, and a very specific Royals rumor. But most of that you would have had the inside scoop on if you just would have checked out RoyalsReview.com first. Please still listen to the podcast. We love y'all listening, and we love hearing from you guys. Comments, social media, email, whole shebang. But go check out RoyalsReview.com. You're doing yourself a disservice if you don't do that. All right, Jeremy. So the winter meetings are now in the books. There was some business to attend to. And one of the things that we discussed extensively on the last episode was the Rule 5 draft and what direction the Royals could go, what players they could select. However, it was all for naught. The Royals did not make a selection in 25 Rule 5 draft, which I'm not saying like they made a big mistake by not doing that. Like it's not that serious. I do feel good about the fact that 3 of the guys we talked about did end up getting drafted.
Well, there you go.
So like they were worthy targets. But the Royals, like, they didn't sound committal to we have to go out and get this guy. So you just you take the opportunity. If it's there, if it's not there, you pass. And that's exactly what the Royals did. They also did make a pick in the minor league portion of the draft, which I was a little surprised by, but it was they stayed pat.
Well, the one thing that I think we all know about the Royals is that they have all the talent they need. They absolutely don't need to make any changes anywhere.
Absolutely not. And like, I don't know, there's one of the minor things that we talked about this winter meeting was, hey, the Royals are looking for bullpen help. Like, that was voiced, that was vocalized through A.D. Rogers. And the Rule 5 draft is a prime spot to take a flyer on some bullpen help. And they still didn't do that. Thankfully, they didn't lose anyone, though, which I don't think we were expecting the Royals to lose anyone. They protected like their top prospects by adding them to the 40-man roster that were eligible for the Rule 5 draft, I would say, in Ben Kuderda and Steven Zobak. Excuse me. It's, Vaz, I saw like he was kind of a good fit to go other places. He didn't get picked up, so I feel good about that portion of the Rule 5 draft, I will say, Jeremy. Anything else on the proceedings from you? Like, it happened. Time to move on.
No, like I said before, I think every team that has an open 40-man spot should grab someone because the cost is so minimal. And a lot of teams didn't, so it's not like the Royals are alone in failing to pick someone. So,
yeah.
And, the odds are not high that anyone they would have picked would have been worth anything anyway, but it just feels like a wasted opportunity, but not like it's a wasted opportunity in the way that, man, if you'd gone out to the ice cream truck, you could have got an ice cream cone and, maybe it wouldn't have been that great, but it also wouldn't have cost you that much. But like, you missed an ice cream cone. Your life is not drastically diminished by it.
Very true. Very true. All right. So moving on to another proceeding from the winter meetings, the MLB Draft Lottery, which we spoke about this a lot. We talked about the really long odds the Royals had at the first overall pick. They didn't land the first overall pick. That's just fine. They did somehow leap into the lottery, and they're walking home with the 6th overall pick in next summer's draft. A huge jump. Everyone, it's a unanimous decision. The Royals are one of the biggest winners from this draft lottery. And if you don't believe that they're winners in the draft slot they are picking in, look at the draft pool. They get more than $2.5 million extra in their draft pool. That's huge, Jeremy.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. 2 years ago, the Royals were picking 6th, and we were all like, oh, this is awful. Why are the Royals picking 6th? Because they just lost 100 games. And now they've won 82 games, and they're picking 6th, and it's like, oh my gosh, let's throw a party. So it's all about your perspective, and the perspective is this is a big win. You brought it up last time, Jacob. You said it's about time that things went the Royals' way. I guess the baseball gods were listening.
Yeah, thank goodness they were. And there's, I've already seen plenty of mock drafts come out. And I'm probably at some point this offseason going to hop on and say, here are right now, if things hold pat, this is where the Royals could go. However, I saw it on Reddit, so I can't take credit. I saw it on the KC Royals Reddit. And someone said any MLB mock draft right now is kin to fan fiction. Like, it's just not happening, probably.
Like we talked about last time with Jace LaViolette, he was, at this time last year, he was the consensus #1 guy. And then he went 27th, I think is what it was.
Exactly.
So still in the first round, so it's not like it was worthless for people to be like, listen, he's really good. But if you're like, oh, well, he's definitely the guy my team is going to take at 1, and that's definitely the guy I want them to take at 1. See Rock, whatever his last name is. I want to say Chulowitzki, but that's probably wrong. Everyone's like, well, he's the #1 guy. Well, don't get married to that. We'll see how the season goes.
Exactly. I feel like it's worth noting right now that every outlet that I've seen, Prospects Live, Baseball America, MLB Pipeline, have the Royals going pitching at 6th overall, which I am sure is not going to please too many Royals fans out there. I see that, and I think 2 points. Number one, you don't draft for your current team's needs. Okay, Jack Caglione getting to the show as quick as he did is an extreme outlier in the thousands of players that have been drafted. It's not the norm. You draft to where you feel like you can develop. And that's my second point. I think the Royals have shown they can develop pitching at least. So you can probably get the most out of this 6th pick.
Yeah, and it's the Royals could need pitching in a couple of years. They could need pitching next year. If they trade Noah Cameron this offseason, Chris Bubich is a free agent. Michael Wacha will have 1 year left on his contract. Seth Lugo will have 1 year left on his contract. You're going to need to reload. So You need pitching. You just take the best available. And the other thing is, if you've got a really good minor league pitcher, you can always probably trade him for hitting. The biggest issue that's facing the Royals right now as they're trying to improve their outfield is they don't have any prospects.
No,
They
not a
have
one.
Blake Mitchell and kind of Ramon Ramirez and nobody else worth trading. So when you go to the White Sox, you're like, we would be interested in Luis Robert Jr. They're like, yeah,
Kevin Harlan here. This Saturday, the NBA on Prime Crew is back as the Emirates NBA knockout rounds continue. The action heads to Las Vegas Saturday for a thrilling semifinals doubleheader. 4 teams remain, but only 2 will move on. The last 2 teams standing will then go toe-to-toe Tuesday night, December 16th in the championship game for a shot at the cup, bragging rights, and a place in NBA history. And Prime is your exclusive home for all the action. So don't miss the final chase for the Emirates NBA Cup coming to you live from Las Vegas. It starts with the semifinals doubleheader this Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And Prime's also got your front row seat for the championship game Tuesday, December 16th at 8:30 Eastern. If you're not a Prime member, that's not a problem. Sign up for a free 30-day trial to get started today. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details. And don't miss the thrilling conclusion of the Emirates NBA Cup. It's this Saturday, only on Prime.
All right, everyone, let's talk about drinking and driving, a decision that will change your whole world. Things will never be the same once you get a DUI because legal fees, time in court are just the beginning. Getting into a crash is another way your world could be irreversibly changed after drinking and driving. Your vehicle may not be the only thing that gets damaged in that crash. You could face a life-altering injury or even death. But you're not the only one who could face those consequences. Your decision to drink and drive could permanently change someone else's world, whether you injure them or leave their loved ones grieving. The next time you're out drinking, call a rideshare, a taxi, a sober friend, or a designated sober driver. Always plan for a safe ride home. The only decision that will change your world for the better is the decision to call for a sober ride. It's never worth it to drive drunk. Don't risk it. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
This year, give them a gift that helps them make the shelf, not a gift that ends up collecting dust on one. During Lowe's December deal drops, get 2 free select DeWalt tools when you buy a select DeWalt 5 amp hour battery kit. Plus, all rewards members get free standard shipping. Shop December deal drops today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 12/17. While supplies last. Free shipping excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to change. Visit Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details.
Is it just me, or has watching TV gotten way too complicated? There's a million different services and just too many bills to keep track of. Thankfully, there's Philo, a better way to TV. For as low as $33 a month, I get the channels I love. MTV, BET, Food Network, you name it. Plus, everything that AMC Plus has to offer. And guess what? They've added access to HBO Max Basic with Ads Plan and Discovery Plus, so I can enjoy all the best TV with one subscription. There are no contracts, no surprise fees, just one low price. And their DVR is awesome too. I can save everything I love on Philo for up to a year and skip the ads when I rewatch them. A total game changer. I signed up directly at philo.tv. That's philo.tv, so I could lock in the best price around. Philo's the easiest decision I've ever made. Now the hard one is trying to decide what to binge next.
don't want a major league pitcher. We want someone to help us now.
Right.
Or,
right.
excuse me, someone to help us 3-4 years from now.
Yeah. They're more the ones willing to take those lottery tickets, and the Royals don't have. I don't even think they have lottery tickets to give in the outfield. I love Asbel Gonzalez as a prospect. I really, really do. I just don't think that in the grand scheme of things, his trade value is that high. And if it's not super high, then I would rather the Royals just hold on to him and see what happens.
And that was also my argument once I realized the Red Sox probably weren't trading for pitching anymore, was that when you look at the Royals pitchers, they have a lot more value to the Royals as pitchers than they do to other teams as trade pieces. So I feel like that's kind of where the Royals are, though. You did bring up an interesting note from Annie Rogers
Yeah.
Before we were talking, Andy Rogers tweeted that the Royals might be needing to look at a complicated trade, maybe like a 3-team trade. We discussed a comment I saw on David Lesky's newsletter this morning, Inside the Crown. You can check that out after you're done reading your Royals review for the day.
Yes.
And somebody was like, well, what if, the Royals did a 3-team with the Diamondbacks and the Red Sox? Red Sox get Marte, the Royals get Duran. I just mocked one up real quick. So, take that for what it's worth. But I have the Red Sox get Ketel Marte, the Royals get Jarren Duran, and then the Diamondbacks get Blake Mitchell, Noah Cameron, Nick Lofton, and Cutter Crawford.
Jesus.
That would be a baseball trade value says that would be about a fair trade. And I think that would work. I think that makes it kind of sense. Obviously, Noah Cameron, Blake Mitchell, and Nick Lofton would be that. If that's the trade for Jarren Duran, you do that. And that's basically what the trade is from the Royals' perspective. The Red Sox don't need those guys.
Yeah.
So this way, the Red Sox get someone they think they need in Ketel Marte, and the Royals get the outfielder they need, and the Diamondbacks get some guys to kind of rebuild with.
I think that's a good example of the benefits of a multi-team deal and why they happen. It can get super complicated very quick. You think that it's hard to accurately predict a 2-team trade. It is much harder to accurately predict a 3 or a 4-team. I think the largest I've seen in my lifetime is a 5-team deal, but I'm blanking on all the parts of that.
Someone on MLB.com tried to come up with like a 7-team trade.
Yes, I saw that. I thought that was funny.
It was hilarious.
But hey,
the logistics of actually making that happen are beyond comprehension, honestly. But
yeah,
it was funny to read.
One more point before we move on to winter meetings and such. On this draft lottery thing, I need to put this out there before draft season starts up, really. I think that the lottery win puts pressure on the Royals player development side more than their scouting side right now. I completely forgot about this. The Royals had 2 scouts take home league-wide awards.
Well, I missed that
year.
too. That's really cool.
Let me pull up their names because I would be remiss if I didn't properly congratulate them. Let's see. I believe it was Rene Francisco. Yeah, Rene Francisco garnered the international award.
VP in the Royals scouting department, isn't he?
Yep, that he is. And then Tom McNamara won the East Coast Scout of the Year. So just to be clear, there are 5 league-wide awards for this field for scouting. The Royals walked home with 2 of them.
So the scouts are good.
The scouts are good.
Well, and that makes sense because we've kind of, I think the general consensus has been, hey, we like the Royals' new scouting director, but the development hasn't always been there, especially on the hitting side. And well, they fired their minor league hitting coordinator.
So we'll see what happens there. But I needed to put that out there into the ether. All right, so winter meetings, not super surprising, but it was very quiet on the Royals front.
Very loud everywhere else.
I felt like it was pretty loud. We didn't have the loudest portions, i.e. Kyle Tucker, but we walked away from the winter meetings with the biggest closer going to a new home. Kyle Schwarber and Pete Alonso finding new contracts, excuse me. There were very sizable moves around the league, just none of them really affected the Royals, unfortunately.
Well, there was one move that affected the Royals right there at the very end.
Yeah, Mike Yastrzemski going to the Atlanta Braves on a 2-year, $23 million deal with a club option for that 3rd year. It felt like the consensus reaction from Royals fans was just we would have loved to have Yaz back, but not at that price point.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, there was some thought that he wanted a 2-year deal. No one was really sure get 2 years. Certainly, I don't think anyone had him at an AAV of $11.5 million. I'm trying to find my let me look at the free agent tracker and see what the estimate was for him. It was Robert Suarez signed. I completely missed that.
Yeah, sorry, Robert Suarez signed also with the Atlanta Braves this afternoon.
So that's why I missed that. It happened this afternoon. So he was projected for 1 year, 10. And the Fangraphs crowdsource results are usually pretty close. For example, let's see.
A lot of smart readers over there at Fangraphs, huh?
Yeah, they were thinking 4 years, 112 for Schwarber. He ended up with 150. So the AAV was pretty close. Ditto Pete Alonso. They way underestimated Dylan Cease.
Yeah, I think everyone did.
Yeah, they thought 480 for Josh Naylor. He got 592.5. Everybody is getting an extra year, basically, is what it looks like this year. Well, no, see, you've got Edwin Diaz was projected 484 and he got 369. So there's a lot. I mean, these are fairly accurate, fairly close numbers. Heck, Suarez was projected 230, he got 345. So the AAVs are right there. It's the years are a little bit off. So let's look at what that would do. Cody Bellinger is 5 for 135, so you're looking at 6 for 170.
It does inflate the outfield market. Yeah.
I don't think he'll actually get 6 years, so I'm not sure what the money will look like there, but yeah, I'm still watching Cody Bellinger. You can't stop me.
I don't think anyone will stop you, because even if he is a flawed player, he is a big upgrade for the Royals in even his flawed areas. You know what I mean? On Yaz specifically, I want to acknowledge that my gut reaction to seeing that contract was just like, ooh, that was a little bit heftier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But it is all about framing. Everything in life is all about framing, and this contract can be framed in a certain way that makes it make sense. Last offseason, it was either last offseason or offseason before. I want to say last offseason. The going rate per FWAR was $8 million. And Mike Yastrzemski is a guy that over the past 3 seasons, he has averaged about 1.8, if my math is correct, 1.8 FWAR each season, or excuse me, 1.9 probably is closer to it. 1.9 FWAR. So in that frame, in that context, this deal makes sense and could be considered a slight, it's age-adjusted contract, stuff like that. He was a late bloomer. He's probably got more baseball left in him than a normal 30, 35, 36-year-old. I don't know. Congrats to him. He got his bag. He got his new deal. So yeah, I can't be mad.
No, I'm happy for him. The thing is that the only bad thing for me is that Mike Yastrzemski was kind of my fallback option of like, okay, gotcha. We missed Bellinger, we missed Bichette, missed blah, 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 player A, B, C, D. Well, at least Mike Yastrzemski offers me a floor that I feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
That floor has been yanked out from under me. So now it's go big or, Austin Hayes.
Yeah. And
there's no strong side platoon guy out there anymore.
No. That is one of the parts of the winter meetings that I did not like, is reporting that the Royals were out on not just big money outfielders, but like what I would consider mid money outfielders.
Yeah.
I.e. Mike Yastrzemski, Harrison Bader, in that range.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you're looking at it, it's like, okay, you're going to give me Miguel Andujar and Austin Hayes. Like, those are the options we're supposed to be looking at. Rob Refsnyder, maybe. Is he cheap enough? Like, the Royals have stressed over and over again that the outfield is the top priority. Everything is signaled that. And I think that letting Yaz go to the NL is defensible as long as that money gets invested into another outfielder.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm at right now. You have to invest that money somewhere.
Yeah. And, along those same lines of things that concern me is Harrison Bader he's the third guy that shows up on this. If I filter by outfielders, is the third guy who shows up based on 2025 WAR. And the Royals are tied to him. He's projected for 224.
Yeah.
And that's basically the deal, Yaz. I think Bader's going to get more than that. Is Bader going to be worth more than Yaz next year? 2 years from now? Do you? I'm not convinced. Okay. I look at Yaz and I see a guy who's been pretty consistent. I look at Bader and I see a guy who was kind of bad for a couple of years,
Kevin Harlan here. This Saturday, the NBA on Prime Crew is back as the Emirates NBA knockout rounds continue. The action heads to Las Vegas Saturday for a thrilling semifinals doubleheader. 4 teams remain, but only 2 will move on. The last 2 teams standing will then go toe-to-toe Tuesday night, December 16th, in the championship game for a shot at the cup, bragging rights, and a place in NBA history. And Prime is your exclusive home for all the action. So don't miss the final chase for the Emirates NBA Cup, coming to you live from Las Vegas. It starts with the semifinals doubleheader this Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And Prime's also got your front row seat for the championship game Tuesday, December 16th at 8:30 Eastern. If you're not a Prime member, that's not a problem. Sign up for a free 30-day trial to get started today. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details. And don't miss the thrilling conclusion of the Emirates NBA Cup. It's this Saturday, only on Prime.
All right, everyone, let's talk about drinking and driving, a decision that will change your whole world. Things will never be the same once you get a DUI because legal fees, time in court are just the beginning. Getting into a crash is another way your world could be irreversibly changed after drinking and driving. Your vehicle may not be the only thing that gets damaged in that crash. You could face a life-altering injury or even death. But you're not the only one who could face those consequences. Your decision to drink and drive could permanently change someone else's world, whether you injure them or leave their loved ones grieving. The next time you're out drinking, call a rideshare, a taxi, a sober friend, or a designated sober driver. Always plan for a safe ride home. The only decision that will change your world for the better is the decision to call for a sober ride. It's never worth it to drive drunk. Don't risk it. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Lowe's December deal drops are here, just in time to give your home some love before holiday hosting. This week, get up to 35% off select major appliances. And members, save an additional $60 on the Maytag top-load laundry pair, now just $9.96. Plus, save up to $20 on select Moen kitchen and bathroom faucets. Shop December deal drops all month long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 12/17. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details.
Is it just me, or has watching TV gotten way too complicated? There's a million different services and just too many bills to keep track of. Thankfully, there's Philo, a better way to TV. For as low as $33 a month, I get the channels I love. MTV, BET, Food Network, you name it. Plus, everything that AMC Plus has to offer. And guess what? They've added access to HBO Max Basic with Ads Plan and Discovery Plus, so I can enjoy all the best TV with one subscription. There are no contracts, no surprise fees, just one low price. And their DVR is awesome too. I can save everything I love on Philo for up to a year and skip the ads when I rewatch them. A total game changer. I signed up directly at philo.tv. That's philo.tv, so I could lock in the best price around. Philo's the easiest decision I've ever made. Now the hard one is trying to decide what to binge next.
Before being really good last year. Yeah, he was a below average hitter for 3 straight seasons before exploding for the Twins and Phillies last year. I don't have a ton of faith, and he's going to be 32. And once you're over 30, I don't remember where I read this, but basically I didn't come up with this idea, but I fully buy into this idea, and I'm kind of reframing it in my own way of once you're over 30, chances are high you're going to hit a wall one year. That year could be 32, could be 35. No one knows. I don't think you're more likely to hit a wall at 35 than 32, other than, you've already not hit a wall for 5 years. You have to hit it eventually.
Yeah.
So you can't look at Harrison Bader and be like, well, he's 3 years younger than Yaz, so he's going to be better for longer than Yaz. You don't know. He could hit the wall next year. They could both hit the wall next year.
That they could. We'll just have to wait and see. And like the Royals I'm not saying the seed is getting hotter. Like, Royals have to do something before Christmas, right? Like, they have to add an outfield for Christmas. They don't have to do something
before Christmas, but boy, if they don't do, I was thinking about this the other day. If they don't do a big bat trade or signing, JJ Piccolo is on the really red hot seat for 2026. I think. Like, if they go a third straight season without getting a real outfield bat, Because Hunter Renfroe, they tried in 24, and that was, I think we all looked at that. I know I looked at that even at the time and said, okay, excuse me, he makes sense as a bounce back guy, but you've given him 2 years guaranteed if he doesn't bounce back.
Yeah.
And even then, he's a bounce back guy. He's not a guy that you really can count on.
That's true.
And then they didn't do anything last year. You go
Yeah.
3 straight years without fixing your outfield, which you knew was a problem 3 years ago. That's, you've not done your job.
Fair enough. So in that bounce back in the outfield vein, though, the Royals are reportedly interested in a struggling veteran outfielder from the Los Angeles Dodgers, namely Teoscar Hernandez. That rumor came out today from, The Athletic. I just wanted to make sure. Apparently, the Dodgers are, quote unquote, kicking the tires on trading Hernandez, which is, I think, signals a big addition in the outfield, but also that they're not
Kyle
willing
Tucker-shaped
to
addition in the outfield.
I'm sure baseball would melt. Baseball would melt if that happened.
He's
it really
been
would.
projected to the Dodgers many times.
He has. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. That's where we're at with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Teoscar Hernandez. I see the name value. I'm just like, ooh, I like Teoscar Hernandez on the Royals. That'd be nice. Boy, howdy, did he struggle in certain areas in 2025.
Yeah.
Boy, were there some rough spots last year, and he's still owed a good amount of money.
When I look at Teoscar Hernandez, I see Salvador Perez, but worse.
Dang.
Hits a home run, doesn't play a premium defensive position, and doesn't play it well. Doesn't walk. And basically, if he gets a bunch of hits and he hits some of them over the wall, hits his usual number over the wall, he's got value. If he fails to get hits, it's not going to work. Would he improve the Royals outfield? Yes, but that's more a statement of where the Royals outfield is. He's also due a lot more money than Mike Yastrzemski just got.
Well, here's where he's at for everyone's numbers out there. So Hernandez is owed $26.5 million over the next 2 seasons, but $16 million of it is deferred until 2031.
I read 48. Somebody gave me some bad numbers.
Well, this is from Max on RoyalsReview.com.
Okay.
And then further on, he has a $15 million club option for 2028 with a $6.5 million buyout for that year. And then also a $15 million conditional option for 29 based on his health. So it gets a little complicated. The Dodgers love their contract games.
Yeah, but that you're still, even though you're not paying him $24 million a year, which is what I thought it was based on what I had read, which was, I thought that was, that couldn't be right, but that's what I read and I didn't double check. So that's on me. You're still talking about paying him more than Yastrzemski.
Yeah.
And he wasn't better than Yastrzemski offensively last year. He's not as consistent as Yastrzemski. He has a higher upside than Yastrzemski if he can bounce back to what he was in 24, but he can't. Yastrzemski can also play really good defense in right field, solid in center, solid in left. Teoscar Hernandez is bad in left.
Yeah. So let me put it to you this way. After the start of June on, Hernandez had a 668 OPS.
Oof.
It was a negative value fielder in the outfield.
Oof.
How many countless current and former Royals outfielders does that sound like? That sounds a lot like Hunter Renfroe.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot like MJ Melendez.
Well, honestly, that's what all the outfielders sound like to me that they've been tied to.
Right.
Is they sound like, yeah, that's Hunter Renfroe again. He was good a couple of years ago. Maybe he'll be good again. You tried that game. Stop playing that game.
Well, look at us. Look at us on the same wavelength. I like it. I like it.
And so I told you I had a take that tied their draft positioning to free agency a little bit.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
We kind of skipped around, which is at least partially my fault, because I was like, what about this trade? But one of the things that adding $2.5 million to your draft pool does make it not hurt quite so bad if you give up a pick because you signed a qualifying offer guy.
Yeah, that's true.
You want to go get your Bo Bichette, your draft pool doesn't suffer quite so badly.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. I also feel like we haven't gotten a lot on the Bo Bichette front. I feel like we haven't gotten a lot on the Kyle Tucker front. We heard, you expect to hear about players, agents meeting with teams at the winter meetings. That is the baseline. We didn't hear much beyond that regarding either player, though. Cody Bellinger, toss him in there too.
The only thing I remember hearing about Cody Bellinger is that the Royals are not pursuing him currently.
Yeah. And then after that
maybe that changed when Mike Yastrzemski came off the board. That's my hope, is that the Royals went, oh no, the floor's gone. We got to leap for the sky now.
Yeah. And I think they're leaping for the sky, the Royals being, they're leaping for the sky would be betting on a bounce back Teoscar Hernandez.
That's not leaping for the sky. That's a more expensive Hunter Renfroe.
Yeah, that's what it would likely turn it to.
I did, for sanity's sake, I did see that the Dodgers said they weren't really looking to trade him. I don't, who knows what that means. But I'm going to pretend that means we're safe.
I think that we are safe from
the sky is
outcome.
Cody Bellinger. Go to the sky, please.
Pretty please. This is, I don't know. This is, I don't want to say it was a disappointing winter meetings because, like I said earlier on, the Royals don't do a whole lot usually during winter meetings.
No,
I think it was.
I said it last year. I'll say it again. I've said it like 5 times in the last week. The Royals last year, less than a week after the meetings, had traded for Jonathan India. They made the first big trade of the offseason last year. So it's not like they're always slow or they're always missing. Nothing at all happened last year during the winter meetings, the way I remember it.
Thank you.
So, especially if we're talking about a more complicated trade between, I think that what we saw with the way the Red Sox handled things is that they were not close to matching with the Royals on a starting pitching for Jarren Duran trade.
Right.
However, if the Diamondbacks might be interested in some of our young pitching, something could happen. I also have to kind of dream a little bit about Brendan Donovan. And the Cardinals are apparently interested in Noah Cameron, which I'm a little worried that no one is as interested in Noah Cameron as the Royals were hoping, because the ERA is nice, but a lot of the secondary stuff is kind of iffy on him.
Yeah.
Can he be that good again? I don't know. I'm not going to pay that much. So I think the Royals were probably a little disappointed on the offers they've gotten for Noah Cameron. But if the Cardinals really like him and think they can unlock something to keep him at this level and are willing to talk Brendan Donovan for Noah Cameron, that would be a trade I would be interested in too.
I think that would be a let's say they did it straight up. Noah Cameron for Brendan Donovan. I don't think
that would be a massive overpay by the Cardinals, I think. But
yes, I think it would. What's it called? I think that's a trade that neither fan base would feel good about. So
I know the Cardinals would hate it.
Yeah.
I've read what the Cardinals had to say on the subject. The Cardinals fans, bloggers and such, they were not happy about. They're like, Noah Cameron is like the worst guy you could get for Brendan Donovan.
Right. I brought that up because that was in the rumblings that I put out for Wednesday morning. Some blog called him the underwhelming centerpiece for the Donovan trade. Oh, goodness. But we'll just see what happens on the Royals front. Jeremy, I don't have anything else regarding Kansas City Royals. I'm still just kind of counting down the days till World Baseball Classic, until pitchers and catchers report.
We're sub 90 days to spring training starting.
That we are.
The Royals put out their Team Hall of Fame ballot this week.
Oh, that's right. Oh my goodness, we should do an episode on that one because the voting's open for a little while longer, I think.
Yes, and there's 9 guys on the ballot. You can vote for up to 5. I am extremely angry that Gerard Dyson did not get 10% of the vote to be included this year. I guess I'll save that rant for a future Royals Hall of Fame discussion episode. But to be fair, I also wrote that rant for an article that I think will go up sometime next week. So,
Smart man. That's why they pay you the big frosted Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, it's how like when you win a certain prize, like Publishers Clearinghouse would give you the giant check. They give me the giant Pop-Tart, and I'm like, that just means there's more dry, flavorless pastry and less fruit filling in here. Why do you hate me so much? Hey everybody, Hokius here with a quick update. So shortly after we stopped recording, the Royals, well, they didn't announce it, but it's been announced that the Royals are signing Lane Thomas, right-handed outfielder, to play for the Royals. He will be 30 years old in 2026, And for most of 2026, he turns 31 at the end of August. It's a 1-year contract, $5.25 million with $1 million in incentives. So the first thing I have to tell you all is I need you to get out your copies of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I need you to say it with me, don't panic. This is probably not the final or best move the Royals are planning to make with their outfield. Lane Thomas is primarily a guy who he hits lefties. He's a lefty masher when he's healthy. So we'll get to that in a second. But in 2024, he was not healthy last year. In 2024, he had a 145 WRC plus against left-handers. He slashed 302, 386, 492. So that is a 900, I think, no, almost a 900 OPS, 878 with a 190 ISO. Just all kinds of good stuff there. He can't hit righties very much at all, so he's a short side platoon guy. And like I said, he was hurt for a chunk of last year. And the worst news is that he had foot surgery in September that was going to keep him off of the field for 3 to 4 months. So he'll be healthy by the time spring training starts, but he will not have had the off season he would like to have as far as, working out and everything. He's going to spend most of it rehabbing. Man, I just pulled up his Baseball Savant page. That is a lot of blue, and it's blue that's barely on the screen. If I go back to 2024, still pretty blue, but it looks a little bit better. The point is this. He's here to hit lefties. It's a 1-year contract. It's not that much money. It's probably more money than I would like to give a guy who, you don't even have a guarantee that he's fully healthy entering the 2026 season. But he can play. He's got a little speed. He's got a little power. He doesn't chase. He can play center field, and he can play corner outfield. So he's probably the idea for Lane.
Kevin Harlan here. This Saturday, the NBA on Prime Crew is back as the Emirates NBA knockout rounds continue. The action heads to Las Vegas Saturday for a thrilling semifinals doubleheader. 4 teams remain, but only 2 will move on. The last 2 teams standing will then go toe-to-toe Tuesday night, December 16th, in the championship game for a shot at the cup, bragging rights, and a place in NBA history. And Prime is your exclusive home for all the action. So don't miss the final chase for the Emirates NBA Cup, coming to you live from Las Vegas. It starts with the semifinals doubleheader this Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. And Prime's also got your front row seat for the championship game Tuesday, December 16th at 8:30 Eastern. If you're not a Prime member, that's not a problem. Sign up for a free 30-day trial to get started today. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details. And don't miss the thrilling conclusion of the Emirates NBA Cup. It's this Saturday, only on Prime.
All right, everyone, let's talk about drinking and driving, a decision that will change your whole world. Things will never be the same once you get a DUI because legal fees, time in court are just the beginning. Getting into a crash is another way your world could be irreversibly changed after drinking and driving. Your vehicle may not be the only thing that gets damaged in that crash. You could face a life-altering injury or even death. But you're not the only one who could face those consequences. Your decision to drink and drive could permanently change someone else's world, whether you injure them or leave their loved ones grieving. The next time you're out drinking, call a rideshare, a taxi, a sober friend, or a designated sober driver. Always plan for a safe ride home. The only decision that will change your world for the better is the decision to call for a sober ride. It's never worth it to drive drunk. Don't risk it. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Whether you're gifting, decorating, or treating yourself, Lowe's December deal drops are here to help you save more all month long. Get up to 50% off select holiday decor. Plus, get up to 45% off select tools and accessories. Shop new December deal drops every week this month and get so much more out of your holidays. Lowe's, we help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Is it just me, or has watching TV gotten way too complicated? There's a million different services and just too many bills to keep track of. Thankfully, there's Philo, a better way to TV. For as low as $33 a month, I get the channels I love. MTV, BET, Food Network, you name it. Plus, everything that AMC Plus has to offer. And guess what? They've added access to HBO Max Basic with Ads Plan and Discovery Plus, so I can enjoy all the best TV with one subscription. There are no contracts, no surprise fees, just one low price. And their DVR is awesome too. I can save everything I love on Philo for up to a year and skip the ads when I rewatch them. A total game changer. I signed up directly at philo.tv. That's philo.tv, so I could lock in the best price around. Philo's the easiest decision I've ever made. Now the hard one is trying to decide what to binge next.
In here is to platoon with Jack and Kyle in right and center field and kind of go from there. Like I said, I don't think this is the big move. I think this is a piecemeal move, and we'll just have to see how it works out. At least they didn't pull a Hunter Renfroe and give him a player option for if he sucks. So that's just what we're gonna have to keep an eye out for. Is the guy will take a walk. He won't chase. And if he bounces back from 2025, if he looks like the guy he did in 2024, it's going to be a great signing for the Royals. He's not that old. Like I said, he's only going to be 30 years old. He just turned 30 a couple months ago. So 1 year for him, not a bad deal, not a great deal. This is not something to get excited about. But again, it's not something to panic about. So hopefully we're looking forward to another big signing or a big trade here in the next couple of weeks. But the Royals are not going to sit silently. They have made their first signing of the offseason. Lane Thomas joins the Kansas City Royals for $5.25 million with up to $1 million in incentives.
Oh, goodness gracious. Jeremy, truth be told, man, my voice is going here.
Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah. Do you mind if we go ahead and get on out of here? Or do you have a review burning a hole in your pocket?
I'll give you 2 reviews since and that way you don't have to do any.
Thank you.
All right. So my first review is on the anime Rent a Girlfriend, which is about a dude who just got broken up with his girlfriend. He's in college. He feels like he's getting a lot of pressure from his family to find someone so that he can have kids. So because his family owns a convenience store and they want to, keep it in the family, et cetera, et cetera. And his girlfriend just broke up with him, and he finds out that there's this service where you can rent a girlfriend to just kind of go on a date with. And then shenanigans ensue, and it turns out that his grandma knows her grandma. And there's all kinds of they've been caught together, and everyone's like so happy that they're together, but they're not. And then there's 4 main girls in the show because it's a romance kind of. It's not really a harem anime, but it's not far from being a harem anime. So there's the Rent a Girlfriend Chizuru that he's in love with, but they're not in a relationship. Then there's another Rent-A-Girlfriend that he meets who is going out with one of his friends. One of his friends paid her to go out with him. And then she falls in love with the main character, quits being a Rent-A-Girlfriend, and forces him to be her boyfriend. So he's got a girlfriend, but he's really pining after this other girl. The ex-girlfriend is an absolute psychotic, keeps stalking him and trying to ruin his life. And then there's a third Rent-A-Girlfriend who is too shy to talk and keeps going on dates with him to try and learn how to be more comfortable around other human beings and have conversations, which is necessary for being a Rent-A-Girlfriend. And the first season was kind of funny because they just kept finding new ways to be in shenanigans. And then the second season was just so slow. It was just he's in love with her, but he's unwilling to admit it. And nothing changed for an entire season. And then the third season I really liked because there was movement. He was like, I'm going to do this thing for you because we're friends. It was a really big thing. I don't want to spoil it, and it's complicated to get into. And I got another review I've got to get to, so I'm not going to go into it all. But I thought it was a pretty solid season. I enjoyed the third season. Did not enjoy the second season. Then I got to the fourth season, and they changed the 2 main voice actors because the 2 are in the English dub, because that's how I watch my anime. Come at me, I don't care. And that was a little off-putting. But then they went back, every episode he says, "I'm going to confess this time. I'm definitely really going to do it." like 3 times an episode and then finds an excuse to not do it. And there was also a whole thing where he goes to his girlfriend and is like, we need to break up because I'm in love with this other woman. And this, like, dating you has not changed my feelings in any way about this. So you're not. And she says, I refuse to accept your breakup. We're still dating. And I'm like, that's not how that works. And it was infuriating me. So I quit watching it 3 episodes in. I Googled, they're still not together by the end of the 4th season. I said, I don't know when a 5th season is coming out. If the 5th season is coming out, I'm not like, and then I saw the mangas, like, are they together yet in the manga? I don't know. So I gave up on that. I enjoyed it for periods of time, but it got old. And then my other review is Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the TV show on Amazon Prime. So to preface this, I watched the movie with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie back in the day. I thought it was fine. And the premise of the movie, the way I remember it, was that these 2 people were in a marriage where they were kind of drifting apart. They certainly didn't hate each other, but they were like, is this marriage really working? And then you find out as the movie goes on that they're both spies working for different companies, and then they're assigned to kill each other. And then they decide, I don't want to kill you. I want to work together with you, and we're going to take down these evil companies. So that was the vibe of the movie. I went into the show. I've heard really good things about the show. I know Donald Glover's in it. I love Donald Glover. I'm excited for the show. So the show starts off, already everything's completely different because these 2, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, now work for the same company, and they've been assigned to be married to each other. So I was like, okay, maybe we're going to get a little rom-com with our action spy shenanigans. And so in the first episode, we have some spy shenanigans and some, like, some meeting new people tension. And then in the second episode, we have some more spy shenanigans and we have some rom-com tension that leads to them getting together by the end of the episode. At the beginning of the 3rd episode, they're spying on an unhappy couple and like, let's promise we'll never be an unhappy couple. And you're like, I know where this is going. So halfway through the episode, they're at each other's throats. There's a little bit of spy shenanigans. From the 4th episode on, the spy shenanigans and this is an 8-episode series. So from the 4th through the 7th episodes, the spy shenanigans are basically gone. The rom-com is gone. They're just sniping at each other, being awful people to each other. Like, just saying and doing awful things to each other. I guess that's funny to some people, but to me, it just makes me extremely uncomfortable and unhappy. And then by the 8th episode, John Smith, Mr. Smith, has decided he doesn't want to be a spy anymore. This is not working for him, so he decides to quit. And of course, the company's like, you can't quit. So they assign her to kill him, and they have spy shenanigans where they try and kill each other. Spoilers for the final episode that I wish I had known going into the series. So if you don't want any spoilers, don't listen. But these are 2 things I wish I had known going into the series that would have made me not watch it. First of all, Mrs. Smith has a cat. She brings her cat to this relationship. The cat is killed at the beginning of the final episode in order to convince her to kill John. No, not allowed to kill the animals. I'm old school. The animals always live. Knock it off. And then the season, and potentially the show, probably the show, because they were set to do a 2nd season. It was going to have a different Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It was going to try and wrap up some loose ends, but one of the co-creators signed an exclusive deal with HBO. So if the show ever gets a 2nd season, it's going to be years from now. And it'll be more like a legacy sequel than anything. So the end of the series, probably the end of the show, leaves it extremely ambiguous as to whether they survive. Like they take truth serum, they decide to team up to survive together, and then these other Smiths show up, and there's a gunfight, and then they're down to 1 bullet, and John has taken a gut wound and he's bleeding out, and so Jane is like, I'm gonna take my 1 bullet and I'm gonna fight them, and then you see 3 bullet flashes through a window, and then the credits roll, and it's like, well, probably they're dead, but potentially the 2 shots missed, and then Jane won. I don't know, because one of the Smiths was taken out. It's a whole thing. Anyway, the point is, it's ambiguous, and also, like, what the fuck was the point? Excuse me. What was the point of any of this, of all of this relationship drama, if they're just going to be dead at the end of it? And even if they're not dead, your plan was to not follow them in the next season. Why did I watch these people be awful to each other for 8 hours so that they could die? So I don't recommend either of those shows.
Sorry, you saw my face when you brought up the cat thing.
Yeah.
I was dumbfounded.
Yeah.
It's like my Honey will Honey will always like talk about like that she does like action movies like John Wick, but John Wick is a wreck on her because what is one of the biggest
I
catalysts.
refuse to watch John Wick. I will not watch it.
Man, I was not expecting it the first time, and it was like,
Yeah, I was getting ready to watch it, and I was looking something up, and I accidentally found out.
gotcha.
And I was like, oh, I'm so glad I found that out before I turned it on.
Well, thank you for the double feature on the reviews, Jeremy, so my voice can at least stay the same and not get any worse.
Hopefully next time I'll have something better to review that I actually enjoyed.
Oh, hopefully I will have something to review and a voice to review it with. I think
Yes.
that's my ultimate goal. So, all right, folks, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you very much for joining us today. I do want to say we have some guests in the pipeline, so make sure you subscribe or follow the podcast wherever you're listening at so you don't miss those episodes. Like we said before, you have to go read royalsreview.com. Doing yourself a disservice as a Royals fan if you don't. That is your top stop for all things Kansas City Royals. I am Jacob Milham. They're Jeremy Greco. Thank you so much for joining us today. And until next time, go Royals.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening. Happy holidays! Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a Happy Holiday.